Namaste and welcome, beloved mighty companions. Welcome home. Welcome to seeing that the only home we've ever had isn't this world. It's home as identity. I think I talked about that time where this will play so many times in consciousness, at least the experience here, that you'll get the glimpse. Like, I'm home, I'm there. Yes, infinite light. Like, as I said, when I went to see Muji, it was such a strong call because he would talk about light. That was so very congruent, and starting with the light and seeing the power, starting with infinite. That's why we start every light circle. He was speaking to me, and all I could think about was light. About 5 years ago, and I could see that was the voice coming through. But the denials, you see, we need the miracles because the denials are just so strong. Even though you're typing, all I was doing is typing about what I'm hearing about light. And it's on the website, the early website in 2014. But it's just not a consistent experience until all the desires are washed out. And now this is a rocket ship, really. And I was with Muji. I'm asking him, yeah, is it helpful to share this? So much love comes. As you see, it's for it's for me. It's just love expressing. Because as soon as something becomes for someone, you see how there's two, like the supreme happiness of just sitting down and not knowing anything about what you're going to talk about, like nothing. And in the joining session, if you haven't seen it, it's just so beautiful. It's up on YouTube. We'll put a description soon. And the clarity, the level of clarity of those who've been doing chapter 20 and working with Jesus directly. And soon I'll post a little video with Mona and Linda talking about their experience with chapter 20. It's just beautiful to see. It's the call of our heart, really. We've called and he's answered. We called him to come. He's calling us to come. It's just calling. It's love calling to itself and always answering unless we pretend like it isn't. So I'd gone to a retreat with Muji. It might have been the second one that I went to, possibly. And he has you contemplate infinite. What a great, that's chapter 20. That's lesson 44 and 189, and a number where he says, drop everything and leave your shoes outside. How much time do we give for God, really? You'll see not much. We give time to thoughts. We give away. We accept time as a reality and turn away infinite. That's just the plain consciousness. And just Muji was just helpful because he give very specific instructions. Okay, marinate, see what's here. That's good instructions. And one you'll follow. Find a being that you'll follow and follow them. And I think I've shared this story before but it feels helpful for me to share it again. So at the end of satsang, and sometimes you just felt like there's no thought, because it just, these sessions will just chop the mind at the throat because you're contemplating light. That's what the purpose of these are. We were talking about Jesus riding through on his white horse and a sword. I will come bearing a sword to cut untruth. And after satsang, so I was standing and watching, and everyone's like crowding in, and the rah rah, wah wah wah. Lucy's teacher started talking. If you ever heard Lucy and Peanuts, how Lucy's teacher from Snoopy and Peanuts, and whenever there's a cartoon, her teacher, you never hear a teacher's voice, you only hear wah 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 wah. Well, I was watching Muji, and it was the wah wah starting. Like, I just don't get this bowing down thing. I don't understand this. Darshan, what is that? He's darshaning, these people are falling over, and seemingly, yes, I'll sit and hear, you could just hear it's all arrogance. But that's how consciousness plays. The currency of consciousness is arrogance. There are a lot of humblings, lots of them, but they're happy humblings. And so this is an example of just saying no for me, to be reminded to say no to the want, Lucy's teacher, the distractions. But it seems natural. Like, we're so used to like complaining and playing in the consciousness currency. It just seems this is the way it is, because that's a desired experience that no, I'm not. And all these little arrogant thoughts, you don't even recognize how arrogant they are. Oh, judgments. Then I went back and followed his instruction. Lesson 44, drop everything and see what's there. And just this love, and I knew that I felt love toward Muji. I don't know why, there's just a call, somehow the call, he was the answer to the call. But then in that contemplation, it was realized, like, if we just give this little bit, Papaji would say, give it 1 second to see what's here before thought. And love came, a love kiss from inside. And it was like, wait a minute, it's not love for Muji. This is infinite love. A taste, the little taste will come of infinite love. And well, of course, the next day, okay, so I'm wrong. And the number of times Jesus had to show me I'm wrong, I'm sure there are plenty more. I'm just more happy about it when he shows me. But so the next day I stood up in satsang. It's out there somewhere, that video. And just said, there's just a love here, infinite, untouched by time. And I could see the little breadcrumbs. I said, you've given us little breadcrumbs to look in. And that's what Jesus, you see, you always have breadcrumbs for home, because everything that you see points back to infinite. And so needless to say, I was wrong again. I saw it was infinite love. There's this love that's here. But we're so unidentified from it. I couldn't claim it because I didn't want to claim it. I am that, but it was helpful because to have that master there, because as soon as I said it and I started walking up, it was like a dark cloud. I was like in tunnel vision, which is fear, because it's a contraction from the light, and I was like hanging on to Muji up there. And he's whispering in my ear, you are home. Because he knows, you understand that. You understand how consciousness plays, even when these deep seeings come. And believe me, my head was on his feet. When you're open enough for the one to come, will show you that you'll accept it, because you won't accept it for yourself. But Muji's, until you can see it's been yourself all along. And then the spiritual arrogance comes, oh, I got this. The I got it ain't it for sure. But it just plays its innocence. That's why he says, don't talk about it, because we want to go off and talk about it. No, speak Jesus. Stay as the light, listen to Jesus, and speak only that. And more love kisses come until they merge into one, the master kiss of the love that we are. And then you just resonate. It takes resonancy. And if a twitch comes, all right, let's just, okay, Jesus. Any twitch is some part of the mind that just needs to be seen through. It's really beautiful with Irene sharing today what Jesus was telling her about magic. That was such a direct looking. That's openness. Because in the ways of this world, if some kind of pain comes up, you just go right to the medicine cabinet. You know, Jesus doesn't judge any of that. It's consciousness that creates the medicine. It creates the pain and the medicine cabinet. And it has a project now. It's a project to walk over to the medicine cabinet. Jesus is saying, look, you can look with me. And he was so direct and clear. And it was beautiful to hear it come through her. It's gorgeous. Because when we speak it, it's for us. It's not for anyone else. It's for us to learn to listen and express as divine beings. And that's what he's really teaching in these joining sessions. How to speak his words, our own words. Hear my voice, speak what I tell you. So we can unlearn and know that we're carried. And he's telling us, yes, record the sessions, record your chapter 20 sessions so you can go back and look again and see how clear the seeing is. As Muji called it. So we're just on permanent kiss from inside. It's not a temporary, you know, it's wonderful, but the ego grabbed that even, oh, I'm saved. Oh my gosh. Oh, this is so fabulous. It's so wonderful. And it'll start to try, consciousness will move in and start to objectify mystical experience. No, as Jesus said to me, you are a mystical experience. You're mystical. You can't be unmystical. It's not possible. Mysticism meaning union with the Father. You are always with the Father. You can ask in the light, just see, can I actually be not mystical? Ask Jesus. Am I mystical? Did I have to do anything to? No, that's the whole thing. The whole point is you don't have to do scrap to be mystical. I need do nothing means in order to be mystical, you don't have to do anything because you are mystical by your nature. It's the acceptance of the no to mystical. See, we're pretending we're unmystical. Ask Jesus. Is the problem is not wanting to have a mystical experience. The problem is not wanting to have a mystical experience. Can you see that? You know, that was because that plays in consciousness. Oh, I'm gonna, I really, really want. No, you don't, because if you're not having one, you don't want it. See, because and even if you do, you ask Jesus whether it's a mystical experience or not. The problem is not mystical experience. The problem, because divine nature is mystical by nature. It doesn't have any other. That's its, if you looked at its resume, mystical. It doesn't have one. As close as we can get to an understanding in this world, mystical with undertones of infinite love, joy, happiness. The rest is a white sheet. So we even have to drop the ideas of what a mystical experience is. I said, Jesus, is it helpful for us? No, because you're mystical first. You can't be unmystical. It's impossible. You can, as we've said, you can run around, take a plane to any corner of the earth, hide in the Brazilian underbrush, and they just look and just see. It's direct seeing. That's a holy instant. Mystical experience, just seeing, wait, there's light here. Like my niece, I like it. The 7-year-old test. She's pointing to herself doing the headlessway.org experiment. Oh, what's there? All is forgiven. That's how quick the light test is. Oh, there's nothing here. All is forgiven. It's just the habit of not not wanting to be forgiven. Jesus, do I not want to be forgiven? I'm looking for any scraps in there, I'll tell you. It's just an encouragement to look is what forgiveness is, to see what's true. Doesn't have to have any fancy name. It's a way of looking to see that everything we think and think we know is impossible. Mm. So in the spiritual traditions, they call this shadow work, where you look at the undershadow. It is a shadow. It's a shadow puppet. We become shadow puppets of the ego and kind of follow it around like it's lapdog. You can have Jesus. Am I the ego's lapdog? And I'm treating that like that is the holy grail. See, that's the play in consciousness, to make the ego the holy grail. Build a better ego. See that the light doesn't build anything. There are no constructions projects in the light. You know, it's like, I don't know how long the light circles will continue. I'm very surprised that I could talk for 365 days. I must need it. I guess I need to learn the lessons really, really well. It's just practicing to hear and speak Jesus's voice. That's all. That's all we're ever doing is practicing. Because we've been practicing something else for so long. Practicing the other game. Today we watched Ed TV. It was another one. You want to say hooray? Hooray. It was another one I didn't like so much. Oh my gosh. And but now I just trust Jesus when he said, it's hilarious. That movie is really funny. Ron Howard directed it. You know, and the cast is superb, really excellent cast. So Ed, if you haven't seen it, it's 1999. And so Ed is kind of like this kind of hit guy, really, from Texas, Eastern Texas, with that Eastern Texas accent. Oh, look, we have a little Tweety. We have a little Tweety listening in, got its little ear in listening. Listen, birds know what they are. They don't try to be like birds and dogs. They just know it. They don't try to be anything other than a bird. So Ed, there's a big competition in order to be the one that's going to be filmed 24/7. Now we have it all the time, of course, because we have the Kardashians. All kinds of reality TV. This was before what did you used to call that, home or something, where those beings would all be locked in a room together. That sounds like a spiritual community. And all this stuff would come up. But yeah, and Ireland, and that had to be before 1999. I mean, after that, but anyway. And it was actually a year after um, Truman Show. So there were, in one year, 1998, 99, here are two programs that come together that are given clues, wake up calls, wake up, wake up to see it's all a show, and to see that the only thing that's true is love. But you could just see the diversity of ways in consciousness. It was so great to see all the plays of I'm not good enough, and what does this mean to me, and looking at something on screen, and just we loved consciousness. Just it relishes following, creating little characters that can follow around, and then it's being paralleled by these programs. And I forgot to do this. I always forget when Dara's not here. Okay. Okay, I'm getting an ad. So Jesus, it won't. I don't think this, I don't think okay, I'm hearing no. Okay, I guess not. All right, so that's a no. I'll just be in trust. So Jesus is showing us that it's all a play. It's all consciousness playing, nothing to be guilty for. But you could see how much Ed was really in his heart and trying to join throughout the whole play. His really heart was in the joining. But it was so beautiful at the end. There's just a gorgeous scene where he his brother had a girlfriend, and then his brother supposedly had an affair, and so she wanted to leave him, but somehow she and Ed could see that they were drawn to each other. Mask and Jesus, yeah, in holy purpose. They're very much in holy purpose pulled together. Jesus uses that body attraction. Yet underneath it, you always look carefully and see if there's, before you have any kind of relationship, that there's a purpose in it. Otherwise, you'll waste a lot of time. But they were in holy purpose together, and she didn't exactly appreciate the Ed TV thing so much, so she took off and left, supposedly because of the Ed TV. But at the end, he told her, it was really beautiful. He's just really straight, saying, look, we've both been in relationships before. They have not worked out. They have not worked out. You didn't leave. We didn't leave each other. I didn't come to get you because I was afraid, just admitting the fear of love. And that's really what we're doing in the light circles. Out of all the kerfuffling and the noise we finally have to get to the point, what Ed got to, which is on camera, off camera, like Jesus is having his talk on camera, because there's some kind of big thing about having to talk on camera. That's the way consciousness plays. To say and admit, finally, I desired an experience other than love. I want something other than love as experience. It's not about the joining. I couldn't understand that. I watched these movies, but Jesus, you have to watch it with his interpretation so he can show you behind the form. And you can look with him at all the denials. Man, they were left in legion in that movie, like one after the other, and everyone reacting to the screen. It was all reacting to the story. And then they'd add extra stories, and then they had commentary on the stories. That's the favorite play of consciousness. Wander up to the water fountain at work, and find someone who we can share stories with. See, it's horizontal attempted rather than come together in holy purpose. Just see how much love comes from that. You don't have to know anything about that other being, and you'll just be in love, because you'll see there's only love. After a joining session, you're basking in love. You see that you are love. That is the only purpose of assignments. It is not to do anything. It's to see that you don't need to do anything. But because we understand doing something, he uses that language, but it's only to see that you're everything. That there's no one to do anything. It's only to get to the admission. Holy smokes, I thought I had to do something. I am everything. What am I doing anything for? And then the movement is just purpose and celebration of infinite. What's the assignment? Jesus. So he even turns around what we think is doing into expression of being. To show us that by nature we're mystical beings. There's only one, but we can use that term. Just feels so much better than body mind. Body mind is like, oh, it's The Walking Dead, actually. It's the zombie show. It's the sleepy sleep. Infinite beings. There are no people. Ask Jesus. Jesus, are there any people? Does God know what a people is? Jesus has said, and you don't either. Jesus, do I know what a people is? Does light know what people are? Love doesn't know what people are. Love just is itself exactly as it is, whole and complete. Celebrating. So the little kerfuffles, maybe they'll come, you know. The first time one would say, oh, I'll never kerfuffle again. We'll see whose voice that is. The only thing we need to know is who to go to when it seems like there's one. And a lot of times the ego's making up it is always, well, Jesus said it's always making up kerfuffles. It's the interpretive function of consciousness to play kerfuffle. That's consciousness's function. To kerfuffle. So that's why it's very helpful is the light training. Go to the light first, ask Jesus, is this a release? Because the interpretive function of consciousness will make every release. I see he's shown me now. All the times I think I've already mentioned that. It's helpful to say, you know, all these seemingly odd symptoms were arising. Like heart palpitations and all these kinds of things. Now Jesus is telling me that it's just, it's like reacclimation, but the ego's going to panic. Wah, you know, the shields go up. Wah, wah, wah. You know, got to go to the doctor. Now I just ask Jesus if I'm going to doctors. He says, go, go. If he says, no, I don't. I wouldn't. But you can see how the relishing of the alarm bells. I'm going to ask him. Yes, of course. Was relishing all the alarm bells. Wah, wah, wah. Something bad's happening. Wah, wah. But then he'll show us that the alarm bells are just desired experience. They're all relish. As we said, we're gonna start manufacturing hell relish so we can sell the monastery. Hell relish. Jalapeno pepper jelly. See that the light doesn't know what relish is. Light doesn't know what wanting is. The light just is. I'm asking, is it helpful to contemplate? Light, yes. I'm asking Jesus if he'll talk about revelatory experience. Says yes. Revelation is just revealing what you already are. You know, I always thought that was going to be some kind of barn stopper right there, you know, like that was another one. In addition to mystical experience, you know, you'd have the checkbox, mystical experience, and right under that would be revelation, you know, and then the world would disappear. It does, the idea of it disappears. We disappear. You know what's hilarious about this thing? Can't remember the whole thing, but basically, so we've been communicating on this thing. Now it's not working so well right now. Well, besides Jesus is saying not to do it, but so we were in a circle and doing a light. And Lori was talking to Jesus and she had hit it and it had just translated something for her. And then she said, Jesus, can we have a miracle? This thing answered C. She hadn't done anything. Like it was immediate. It didn't even translate the question. It went directly to the C, the yes. It was hilarious. We laughed really hard on that. We just said, Jesus, was that you? And then we laughed because we knew. That's time and space rearrangement. Was that see beyond consciousness? You can ask them and hear them yourself. See, you'll build to have the light test on everything. Anything you want to know, like if it's helpful. He hasn't told me no on any questions. So just go ahead and ask him. He said, I'd rather have the dialogue with you, actually. That's what he said. It starts the dialogue. Just start the dialogue. But it can't be, because this is how the ego asks questions. The ego asks questions with the answer already predetermined. See, it wants to, you know, it's going to ask a question, but it's tight. It's got a little knot around it because you know, it's trying to get something to prove that its idea is correct. See, if we go to Jesus like that, that just doesn't work well. It's not that he wouldn't answer it, but that tightness is not wanting to hear the answer. It's expecting an answer. It's I want it my way. It's a positional question. It doesn't work that way. It goes empty-handed to your God. So you just, okay, show me. That's when you start saying, give it to me. I'll take whatever you can dish out. That's accepting of how powerful we are. That's the whole boat turning right there, going, give it to me, Jesus. Go ahead. Because you know that we're light. We know we're light. But we have to accept it because we've been denying it and cease to give it the boot out of awareness. and to see that the only limit is a self-imposed limit. And it's even that is only an idea of limitation. It's only an idea. We give power, all the abdication of the kingdom, to thought. And it's helpful to see in the movie, the EdTV, when you watch that scene, let Jesus interpret it again, because the ego is going to interpret, oh, it's really great. The two bodies got together at the end and that's love. No, that's not the teaching. The teaching, the highest teaching in that movie is when he admitted that they were avoiding love. When you see where you're avoiding love that's here. When you're avoiding the prompt to be with that mighty, he was prompted to be with her, and then he's avoiding that and playing in consciousness. And he wasn't stepping into function. When we admit that we're denying our true function, which is infinite, that is the power of God moves that. The only purpose of these movies is to really see that, to see where love's being denied, avoided. And then when the turn and the decision is like full on, and whatever you ask of me, Jesus, it's going to be quick. You can ask him because you can hear him too. Jesus, when I say yes to you full on, is it quick? Yes, because it's merciful. We think it's merciful to avoid this looking. It's hellacious. You start to see how hellacious that is not to look immediately. How much unnecessary suffering. Nothing's happening. The infinite light, nothing can happen in infinite light. That the experience of suffering will be acute. So we start turning inward by asking for help constantly. And as the momentum builds, like there's this deep looking of chapter 20, you'll see how much you need Jesus and want his help. Like that's the experience here. Boy, I just saw, I need your help. 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 But then that's the opening where he can really start helping heal the mind, helping us reveal every little catacomb. But it's getting the turn because the fight is so acute. We have a Course in Miracles in which he talks about magic, yet legions of Course. I'm asking Jesus if I can talk about it. Yes, legions of Course students. Legions having conversations about what's the best health food or medication to take. You can ask him, Jesus, is being true to the Course? He doesn't take anything away, but he knows that we've been at this long enough to start the deep look, like Irene. She just put the whole thing on the table. But you'll see that the fruit, like Muji says, this will bear fruit. Because it comes with that comes, well, the recognition of divine power. Because as long as there's a thought that magic works, you're in hell. Ask Jesus, yes. You'll have spots of heaven. You'll be going to the doctor a lot. Not that it's bad. It can be a holy encounter. It's just that there's a belief that the body can get ill, and it's just a belief in limitation in the body. You can ask them, is every illness just thought? Am I more powerful than thought? Do I desire an experience where I'm impacted by thought? And you just go until he says, no, you do not desire that anymore. Till it's completely clear. That's the happiest and simple way to just climb the ladder of prayer. See, he's helping us climb the ladder. He's telling us exactly where to put our hands on the ladder of prayer. To see where we've been praying for something other than infinite. And to see at the top of the ladder, praying is just what is. Let all things know, giving a song of thanksgiving. The gratitude's your middle name. It's identity. And I could see that, like, even gratitude becomes a concept. I'm so grateful for, it's a good place to start. It's not a bad place to start. It's just that even has to fall away. What gratitude is identity. So this is definitely for me to see, because he's saying it right now. It's identity. Infinite just is, it just only knows gratitude. It doesn't know anything other. See, that would be an other, to know something other than gratitude. You can ask Jesus. Does gratitude need anything other than gratitude? And hear his answer. Gratitude, yeah, it takes out a lot of the forests and the trees too. It's helpful to see beyond the concept of what gratitude is. You know, in the play of consciousness, I'm thankful for my car, and I'm thankful for my house over my head. Now, it's so objectified, you know, and under that is really a prayer for hell, actually. I'm asking Jesus, so I'm absolutely clear. Yeah. We don't see, it's innocence, but it's innocence praying, because it's really saying that without the car or the house, you know, that it's the objective experience that we're grateful for. See, that love isn't grateful, it just is. Gratitude is love itself. And you can say, it's not bad to say to Almighty, oh, I'm really grateful for you. That it's coming out of that place of infinite. See, when we're thanking a brother, yes, it's singing the song of love. Thank you, thank you. I appreciate it. That thank you. Yes, thank you, thank you. Like Muji said, just go around and say thank you all day and see how that works. But just notice that the thank you is always the self, celebrating the self. It's not for another. It's just the way, it's the way infinite celebrates, is natural. It's just what is. It's identity of love. The highest rung on the ladder is giving and receiving as one, which is gratitude. Ask Jesus. That's nice. Thank you, Jesus. Giving and receiving in one is gratitude. Thank you, Jesus. For the fireside chat, we love you. We'll be posting the video soon. Go for chapter 20, he says.